While visionary leaders foresee the future, legendary leaders have the ability to simplify and institutionalize their vision. This is a story of one such iconic corporate leader I had the privilege to work with. During a complex review meeting, he simplified 4 critical chasms that all organizations must leap across, regardless of their size or industry. He called them the foresees. The first of these journeys is from confusion to clarity. Gallup surveys endorse that lack of clarity is one of the primary factors of employee disengagement. We often hear of brands and organizations being confused about their core purpose, vision, strategy, and even job roles. This happens primarily because the vision that seems to be so clear in the minds of strategic leaders, or in some cases just the CEO, doesn't translate into workable frameworks for the rank and file. Too often, vision and strategic plans are vague catch-all phrases which mean different things to different people. Strategic intent is lost in translation into mindless checklists because the teams that develop strategy rarely bother to explain the why of a plan to the actual executor on ground. Developing a strategy is exciting and sexy, but translating that into simple, non-jargonized steps is a laborious and a frustrating process, thus often ignored. However, as they say in the armed forces, no matter how brilliant the general's plan may be, it is the Havaldar who has to execute the last 100 meters of it. If the Havaldar doesn't get it, the brilliance of the plan is irrelevant. The second chasm that organizations need to cross is from competence to capability. While organizations strive to recruit the most competent talent they can afford and attract, they struggle to translate that competence into organizational capability. As many leaders will observe, a new hire often gives its most impressive performance during the interview, and it's all downhill after that. This is primarily because elaborate recruitment processes often diffuse accountability and ownership. Pressure on recruitment timelines, numerous interview panels, psychometric tests, and vague strength finder graphs end up recruiting homogeneous, stereotypical talent. Fire in the belly, ideological and psychological alignment, chemistry, gut feel, intuition, these are all surgically removed from the hiring process. But often, these are the very aspects of leadership and decision making needed at strategic levels. Organizational politics also keeps the potential of teams hamstrung. While politics itself is a benign word, toxic politics erodes positive energy and evicts talented individuals who don't want to participate in it. Removing this venom from teams is the direct responsibility of strategic leadership. However, many don't because it's distasteful and confrontational. In some unfortunate cases, insecure leaders actually encourage politics to safeguard themselves and their petty agendas. The third chasm is from concern to confidence. Healthy concern is a good leadership trait. However, leaders must strive to convert that concern into confidence. Confidence about the training imparted to their junior leaders and their resultant capability. Confidence that they have been well exercised, battle inoculated, and aligned. That their core values are in place and so is their North Star. And if the situation demands, they have the moral courage to deviate from the standard operating procedures within remit of organizational and professional integrity. There is an old army story about a general who was informed about a platoon-level attack at one of his division's forward locations while he was playing golf. The general didn't even bother looking up from his stroke while acknowledging the news. A rookie lieutenant thought it was unprofessional of the general not to stop playing and rush to the ops room instead, until he was taught by a senior that if it's a platoon-level attack that is underway, the general must continue to play golf because he is confident of the ability of the leaders in the chain of command to handle the operation. Any perturbation displayed by him would have undermined that chain of command. The last and perhaps the most important chasm to be crossed is from criticism to celebration. Critique is an often overused tool in leadership. This has its roots in our education and social system where the focus is often on what went wrong rather than what went right. Leaders who are able to spot an error within reams of document or scores of slides are lauded for their eye for detail and incisiveness. Reviews have an air of inquisitions and there's a palpable tension before important reviews. However, the leader's role is not fault finding. That's the job of the auditor. A leader's primary job is to inspire. She may be a great problem solver, a brilliant strategist, or a highly competent professional. All that is for nothing if she cannot inspire and institutionalize that inspiration, because strategy, competence, solutions can be outsourced, but inspiring the organization is the responsibility of its leaders. These four chasms, confusion to clarity, competence to capability, concern to confidence, and criticism to celebration, form the structural roadmap of an organizational success. It's the ability to develop and propagate frameworks like these that separates truly visionary leaders from the rest.